How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Split Decision. We had a great fight last night. Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence. It was the fight of the year, possibly the fight of the decade. And it was a split decision. So we're here to talk about it. I'm your host, Aki. To my left is
Professor Nims, the pundit with the PhD in pugilism.
Talk to him. So if you need some education, because your favorite fighter lost last night, you tuning in to the right show, because we about to break it down every minute of every single round. So Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter. It was a split decision. Now, do you agree it was a split decision? How did you score the card? Who you had winning? And did Shawn Porter surprise you?
Okay, so I want to say full disclosure is that when I'm usually watching fights, particularly for entertainment, I don't score them. I usually just enjoy the fight, and then I go back and I review the fight, and then based on the tenets of winning boxing, I use that to kind of score fights. So that's ring generalship, defense, effective aggression, and then effective and clean punching. So I felt that Errol Spence did the better work in the fight. I thought that he had to, he landed the more cleaning and telling punches in there. I will say that there was some troubling times that I think some of his opponents can pick up on, which we'll talk about later. I still think that he rightfully was awarded the victory against Shawn Porter, but it was a close fight, so I don't have an issue with a split decision.
I don't know about that. You know, this show is split decision, but I had a problem with a split decision because I didn't think a judge could have had scored 3 points up for Shawn Porter when the final bell rang. I mean, like, Shawn Porter got knocked down in the 11th round. He got hit Errol Spence outlanded him when it comes to the jab, to the power punches, to the body, to the head. You name it. Errol Spence landed the more effective clean punches, and he landed more punches in general and threw, I believe, even less punches. I don't even know if he threw more punches or less punches than Shawn Porter, but I think he threw a little bit less. So my point is he was sharper, obviously, and he landed the more effective blows, and he landed more blows and managed to knock him down. So how can a judge have Shawn Porter 3 rounds up? I had it scored, because I rewatched the fight, I had it scored 4 rounds to Shawn Porter, the rest was to Errol Spence. And plus the knockdown, it created that gap that you just can't have it as a split decision. So it was a close fight, but I mean, Shawn Porter performed well. He impressed me. His stock does go up, even though he lost. Normally, when a fighter loses, his stock go down. But in this fight in particular, his stock did go up. But at the end of the day, there's no moral victories in boxing. I can't just give you more credit because you were trying a little harder. At the end of the day, you got to get the win, and you got to give the scorecard, or when you score a fight, you got to give the round to the fighter that's having better generalship, that's landing the more effective blows, that's having better defense, you know, and that was Errol Spence throughout the fight. So even the rounds that Errol Spence clearly won, Shawn Porter was still in there. That's what made it a great fight. But he did not win them rounds. You know what I'm saying? So so early on, the first 2 rounds, obviously Errol, 3 and 4, you know, Shawn Porter could have took him, but 5 and 6. Errol took him, and then 7, I believe, Shawn Porter showed up, and Errol didn't throw many punches. He kind of took a break in that round, trying to get Shawn Porter to punch himself out and come back harder the next round. And then he kind of took over from there. But it was a good fight, but not how fans stating like, oh, it was a close fight. Some people claiming it was a robbery. Like, it wasn't even that. Even Shawn Porter himself didn't say it was a robbery, and he was the fighter because he knew. I mean, that fight took like 3 years out of his career. So that being said, if you think Shawn Porter beat Errol Spence, that's like saying Luke Campbell beat NO-Machenko. Just because NO-Machenko stated that was his toughest fight to this day doesn't mean Luke Campbell beat him. You know, he was a good fight, but at the end of the day, NO-Machenko was the clear winner. And that's just how I feel about the Shawn Porter fight. And that Shawn Porter that showed up against Errol Spence with that much determination, he will give any welterweight a lot of problems, any welterweight, including Terrence Crawford. However, in my opinion, Terrence Crawford fought the right game plan. I believe
Not Terrence Crawford.
I believe if Shawn Porter fight Terrence Crawford, I believe Terrence Crawford will fight his game plan. Like he won't fight Shawn Porter game plan.
So you acknowledge that Errol Spence didn't fight with the right game plan, right?
Well, I believe Errol Spence stuck to his word. I mean, he said he wanted a man down because when he boxed Mikey and showed his other side, everybody was like complaining, oh, what happened to the man down model? So he was trying to live up to that. So he stated before the fight, you know, a lot of people will talk a good game before the fight, but when it comes to fight night, they won't fight how they talk before the fight. But Errol Spence stated, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to keep coming forward, and I'm going to stop him. I'm going to look for the knockout. So that's how he fought. So I believe he could have had a better game plan, which is how he fought Bundu. You know, when he fought Bundu, it was a fighter that switched stands, keep moving his head, and he was a shorter fighter. What Errol Spence did, he kept him in the outside, boxed him, and then when Bundu got in the inside, he fought him. But then, you know, he will like keep his distance and try to maintain the fight, you know, at a certain distance.
Yeah, but Bundu's not Shawn Porter. He doesn't. I don't think he has the feet, and I don't think he has the athleticism as Shawn Porter. So I think that Errol Spence was able to win, but fought the wrong fight. So part of that is ring generalship. So I think that the judges gave him credit for making Errol Spence fight his fight. You were still supposed to, you know, judge it based off of those, you know, 4 tenets of scoring boxing, but I think he deserves some credit for that. I think that Errol Spence showed some flaws in his game. Particularly, he went straight back against Shawn Porter, and that's a no-no, right? You're supposed to pivot and turn, make him pay, or throw the jab if you're going forward. But if he's coming like that, you're supposed to throw a check right hook and then pivot to the side and keep doing that. Keep turning him, and he didn't do that.
That's the right game plan, which is to box, and that's what he did versus Bundu. Now, like, but when you say Shawn Porter had the ring generalship because he fought his fight, let's be honest here. Errol Spence throughout the fight, I mean the lead up, he told Shawn Porter, I got more dog than you. So when it comes to it, I'm gonna beat you at your own game. And that's what he really did. He fought Shawn Porter fight, and he beat Shawn Porter at his own game. Because that was a Shawn Porter fight, right? And he beat him at his own game. However, as far as the ring generalship, we got to give credit for Errol Spence. How many times he put him on a rope? How many times he put Shawn Porter on the ropes and punished him? And Shawn Porter, to his credit, he would get beat up for a little bit, right? Then he would turn Errol Spence.
Exactly.
But he would not do any damage. Errol Spence will hold him and will nullify it. So
he did enough damage.
Give him credit.
He did enough damage. I haven't really.
I rewatched the fight, and Errol got hit. I mean, I ain't saying like he got hit a lot in that fight. Nobody hit Errol Spence like Shawn Porter did.
That says a lot.
But I'm saying he didn't do as like enough to get a split decision. And in my opinion, like I said, Errol Spence had the ring generalship because he put Shawn Porter on the ropes and punished him. He came forward and didn't step back, backward and lived up to man down model. He just didn't keep him down. He got him down. You know, he got his gloves to touch the canvas, but he couldn't keep him down. But the thing about Errol, the reason he couldn't throw a lot of jabs, like I stated earlier, when you fight Shawn Porter, he was looking to counter Errol Spence's jab. You could tell they trained a lot for that, right?
Yeah.
So when you coming forward, that's why Errol should have fought his game plan, because he could have possibly got the knockout if he fought his game plan. Because when you push for the knockout, that's the quickest way you could get knocked out. Because Errol Spence was walking forward, and he the taller fighter, and he using his jab, right? That's why he wasn't throwing the jab much, because he realized whenever he threw the jab, Shawn Porter was trying to slip it. And that would give Shawn Porter a chance to cut the distance, because Errol Spence is stepping forward and Shawn Porter could just get to him quick, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Errol Spence was moving around like you stated earlier and using his jab and stepping backward, now it's a different story. Even if Shawn Porter, slips the jab, it don't matter, because Errol Spence step backwards. So if Shawn Porter tried to cut the distance, that would give Errol Spence a chance to counter him. That's why he should have, boxed more and fought Shawn Porter the way he fought Bundle. But he kind of underestimated Shawn Porter in a way, and Shawn Porter fought a good fight, and he fought his fight. But Errol Spence proved the point, which is, hey, I said I was gonna come to fight, and it was gonna be a great fight. And
he almost lost his belt trying to prove a point. I think that he there was some tactical adjustments that he could have made within a fight that he did, particularly with his jab. When he doubled up the jab and he really stepped into it, I thought he was really effective. So when somebody's countering your jab, usually you want to double up the jab. You want to use feint. You want to get their timing off, and then even counter with the straight left hand, because he's a southpaw in there. And I didn't see that. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but I was calling for that throughout the night. Me and London, shout out to London, who came over to watch the fight with us. But I did have him win the fight. But I will say that this is just kind of a visceral feeling that I walked away with, because I didn't score the fight. I think you said you went back and scored the fight.
It reminded me of the Cotto fight, how like when Floyd fought Cotto and Floyd was on the ropes. Obviously, Floyd has way better defense than Errol, but when Cotto was throwing punches on the ropes, Floyd was kind of like catching a lot of punches. But it was like, Cotto doing, he doing a lot of damage when, he was missing a lot too. Errol was catching a lot of punches, but he was getting hit too. And I don't know if you know this, Shawn Porter's dad, Kenny Porter, told him in the corner, ban the body. Let him hit your body and counter him to the head. So he was giving up the body to catch Errol Spence to the head. So fighting somebody like that, that's tough, man. Somebody giving up the body, so you could hit him to the body because Errol Spence is a taller fighter. So obviously he was going to dig down, and then that's give Shawn Porter an opportunity to counter upstairs. And he did that a couple times, which I believe that kind of slowed down Shawn Porter in the later rounds. Because
I think that's a terrible tactic.
Because you don't want Errol Spence to bang that body, especially while throwing a punch, because you're exhaling. So that you could get knocked out to the body like that. But he told Shawn Porter that, and Shawn Porter did it. Surprisingly. So I'm just saying, Shawn Porter did everything he can to win the fight. But Errol Spence, let's be honest, beat him at his own game, and he outlanded him with jabs. Even though we stated he didn't throw as many, because I believe, like I said, he saw that. It's hard because Shawn is awkward and move his head. And, even when they in the inside, you stated he was off balance most of the night. But that's because Shawn Porter pushing you in the inside using his weight. So Errol Spence was trying to stand his ground the whole night, And it made it a great fight, but I believe Errol Spence could have made it. It's like, it reminded me of how Floyd Mayweather fought Maidana the first time. He stayed toe-to-toe, which made it a close fight. Then in the rematch, what Floyd Mayweather did?
But that was an old Floyd.
Yeah, but what Floyd Mayweather did in a rematch when he fought his fight? He just boxed and outboxed Maidana and made him look ordinary. So I'm saying,
he also got hurt in that fight.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was not as close as the first fight though.
He won, but we're talking about a fighter who is supposed to be in his prime, who they are comparing to Sugar Ray Leonard. I've never liked that comparison. I don't see that. We can talk about that later, but this is somebody who is supposed to be. I think you have him. Well, we both have him in our top 5 pound for pound in there. So I just wanted to see a little bit more out of him. Particularly with his jab, I didn't really like he was pushing his jab sometimes, and he has a better jab, the more educated jab. But I thought that Shawn Porter's jab was more quick twitch.
But he outlanded Shawn Porter when it comes to the jab.
Yeah, I mean he's a big guy, he's a longer guy. I mean I'm not impressed by that.
Let's be honest here though. Who would look good against Shawn Porter? The Shawn Porter that showed up tonight with that determination. He was willing to get knocked out. Like, the man was willing to get knocked out to win this fight. He stated he was willing to die in the ring. So he was very determined, and he's very awkward. Shawn Porter, the Shawn Porter that showed up tonight, and let's not forget, Errol Spence didn't hold much. Matter of fact, Shawn Porter held more than Errol Spence did. And, you know, we can't forget Errol Spence. He did get dirty, too. That's my guy. But he was throwing some serious low blows when the referee was on the other side. But he got dirty with Shawn Porter. He showed that he has a different element. It reminded me, because it's funny, you said you don't like comparison between Sugar Ray Leonard and Errol Spence. But peep this, right? I remember the time when they were calling Sugar Ray Leonard a pretty boy, right? And then when he fought Duran, even though he lost that fight, they were like, man, this dude could fight. This dude ain't no pretty boy. Errol Spence the same way. Like, throughout his career, they're like, man, he never faced adversity. Like, and then look at him tonight. I mean, last night, he showed that he a dog in there. And he showed that he got more game and more dog than Shawn Porter, because he beat Shawn Porter at his own game.
I don't think that was a question.
I'm saying, but it's in a way, it's like, you know how people thought like, oh, Sugar Ray Leonard, he's just is a pretty boy. Like, people think of Errol Spence, he ain't all that. He ain't that tough. When you look at him from the outside, he used to be the boogeyman of the division. He is the boogeyman of the division. But funny, tables turn, because he became the money man of the division. But I'm talking about the perception of him as far as, oh, look at how he fought Mikey. And you look at how he fought this fight and came on top. You got to give him a bunch of credit, even though, like I said, me and you thought he was going to knock him out in the 10th or 11th round. He almost did. He knocked him down. But like I said, I thought he was more going to fight his own game plan, which is going to be like, you know, it seemed like he was trying to prove a point. He didn't like Shawn Porter. He was trying to knock his ass out. And I just feel like if he would have boxed him and fought him just like how he fought Bundu, I think he would have got the stoppage and made it a little prettier. Even Kenny Porter dad stated that. But the fact that he made it, the man was so stationary, he didn't even move. He was just walking forward, didn't even make a step back. So it made it that much closer of a fight, and it made it a good fight. But like I said, Shawn Porter, a lot of punches that he threw, Errol Spence caught, and he was returning at the same time. And he landed the more effective punches. That's why I just don't see Shawn Porter winning the fight. You know what I mean? And the judge needed to be questioned, because even though it was a close fight, but at the end of the day, Errol Spence outlanded him in every, like I'm talking about category, like body shots, head shots, jabs. He landed the more effective punches, and he knocked him down. So how can you have the fight scored? Like, how can you give Shawn Porter 9 rounds to 10 rounds? Like, that's impossible. Can you give Shawn Porter 9 to 10 rounds in that fight? Like, there's no way.
I don't know, but one thing, you score a fight round by round, so you don't look at it in its totality. And you got to remember, each of the judges, they're not sitting beside each other. They're sitting on at different locations at each side, different sides of the ring. Yeah. So they all see different fights. I mean, they see particularly a different fight, but a lot of people had it close. Yeah, but I think Yahoo had it 114, 113, meaning the only difference in it was the knockdown.
Yeah, they tripping. Let me tell you something. Okay, it's like this. It's not the fact Errol Spence only got. I think Shawn Porter outlanded Errol Spence only in the third, third, fourth, and 7th round, and maybe another round. Like, it's 3 to 4 rounds that Shawn Porter outlanded him. Mm-hmm. That's the only time. So throughout, Errol Spence outlanded him every round and landing more effective punches at the same time. That's like, and being a good ring generalship by cutting off the ring.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that. I feel like I said, definitely he could have fought better, but I think he's gonna be. Do you think he's gonna be a better fighter, like, from this experience? Because I think he's gonna learn from this. Because he gonna need to start using his footwork, pivoting while throwing right hooks, more so how he fought Mikey, but mix it up. You know, you don't gotta go forward the whole night. You know, you don't gotta go Mexican style over here. You know, this was Mexican style if you ask me, but I'm saying, like, he could use. You got to know when to do both. You know, you fight in the inside. He should have fought in the inside at his own time when he wanted to, and kept it in the outside when Shawn Porter, wanted to get in the inside. That's how I felt about the situation.
Yeah, I mean, particularly from learning from this fight, I think that he can become a better fighter. One, that he knows that he can go 12 hard, gritty rounds. I don't think anybody really has really questioned his heart in a sense. But his stamina was there. He was there all 12 rounds. He was dancing at one point, I think, coming out for the 10th round.
And he had Shawn Porter kind of gassed out by the later rounds, even though Shawn Porter's the man that.
Yeah, it is. That probably had a lot to do with the body work that he put in, because that takes a lot out of you. I think that if he goes and looks at some of the things that he could have done better to make the fight easier, then to me as a boxer, I think that your number one priority is to win, and then to win taking the least amount of punishment. I'm sorry, this is a very brutal sport, and if you want to increase your longevity in the sport and also your quality of life outside of it, I don't see why fighters get caught up in that bravado, which is why I love Floyd Mayweather, because he was a master, and so that kind of, I'm gonna sit there and do this to kind of prove something. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that's just
I mean that is true. You know, he definitely shouldn't have got caught up in all the hype. You still got to fight your fight, and it would have still been entertaining. I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously less entertaining, but takeaways that Errol Spence, as you stated earlier, don't go straight backward. I know he was waiting to counter, like he was trying to time him, but you don't go straight backward. Like you circle around and you try to even counter with the hook and pivot at the same time, and then jab. So I feel like he could have did things a little different. But like I stated, I believe that was due to Errol being offensively minded and just want to stick to the game plan that they had previously, which is just go for it. And that was working. So they were like, man, let's just stick to it. And we probably tired them out because they were landing great punches to the body. But still, you still got to make those adjustments during like the fight. You know, you don't have to fight your plan A, even if it's working and you getting hit in the process. Hey, let me switch it up so I don't get hit, and I can still win the fight in a dominant fashion. You know, I get what you're saying.
I think that's the mark of a great fighter and an all-time great, is to being able to do that. During the fight, between rounds, making those adjustments. One thing I want to say, it was a split decision, but the true winners were the fans. It was a very enjoyable fight, and something that will be talked about for years to come.
For sure. So next topic at hand, your favorite fighter, Danny Garcia.
Don't go there.
He said he sees something in Errol Spence. So he stated on an interview that he thought that Errol Spence was too stationary. That's what we talked about earlier. And he could capitalize on that. Now, what's your thoughts on him getting inside the ring? Because we watching the fight, we thought it was already a setup, like it's already made. Nah. It was actually like the lady that was interviewing them. She made it seem like that, but it wasn't. Like the fight is not signed. I think that she was just trying to say, okay, just guarantee your next fight. I don't know why she did all that. She has great interviews on her channel stuff. But the only problem, like even the press conference, they talking trash and she gonna stop it and talking about y'all acting like my 3-year-olds. Like nah, like you don't do that. Like these grown fighters, they hyping up the fight. That's what the fans want to see. Let him talk shit. And then, you know, she say, like Errol Spence, you could tell he wanted to call out Manny Pacquiao. And then she made it seem like, oh, this fight already signed. Errol Spence got thrown off. He like, what the hell going on? Yeah. And that's when he stated, tables have turned. Now, tables did turn. Errol Spence, the man of the division, the money man of the division. So what you think about Danny Garcia stepping in the ring? What does he see that we don't see?
Well, one, he took some punishment in that fight, so that's always, you know, as one of my friends, Vernon, would say, is that you always leave a little bit of yourself in the ring, particularly after a hard fight. And so these are the things that I think that Danny sees in there. One is that he said that Errol was there to be hit. Is that Errol is very good technically, but he's also not. He doesn't have these kind of quick twitch reflexes that you see with some of the other boxers, particularly like a Terrence Crawford. His feet are not terrible, but they are a little bit slow. And this is the biggest thing that I've noticed from a lot of Errol Spence's fights, is that when you throw combinations at him, he keeps his he keeps his guard up and he keeps his hands at home, meaning that he doesn't punch with you during those times right now. So like if you're throwing a combination with him, he'll be very responsible defensively, but he doesn't necessarily throw back. So if you know like Shawn could like get off about 3 or 4 punches necessarily, and then he'll just kind of keep his guard up in that sense. So
he's looking to catch and shoot.
Yeah, I don't see him do that much. So there was another fight that I remembered. I was like, well, that's like a little bit of a, if you want to be picky, like that's a little bit of a flaw. Okay, it was against Lamont Peterson. So I remember, so he thrashed Lamont Peterson, but I remember that if you throw punches at him and if you throw them in succession, that he keeps his guard up. And if you're fast enough to get out, then you could do that without taking too much punishment. So that's what I think. It's another thing for Danny to be able to capitalize on that. But those are the things that I think Danny.
You're gonna need to bring a Floyd Mayweather out of retirement for that. For somebody to do something like that. Danny's slow on his feet. He's not the athletic. Like if you're talking about somebody being slow on their feet, Danny's slow on his feet. Now who you have winning?
I'm not the biggest Danny Garcia fan. I mean, I give him credit. I think that a lot of people
don't try not to claim him now.
I've never claimed Danny Garcia. I think you're getting that mixed up with Mikey, but with Danny Garcia, I think that this guy's accomplished a lot, and I don't know. I think his probably best win.
Matisse for sure.
Is Matisse.
Matisse was a good win. Amir Khan and Matisse, but I say Matisse was hyped up at the time.
Yeah,
so, I mean that was a good
Matisse.
win.
Yeah. But if you look at that, my point being is that that's not that I think he's still looking for that kind of signature win. A lot of people will say Amir Khan because at that time you got to remember like Amir Khan was running through that division and he was heavily favored to win that fight. He was actually taking it to Danny Garcia, but his glass chin failed him once again during that fight. I have Errol winning that fight. I think that Danny will have some good moments in there.
Stoppages.
I don't see any stoppages.
See, all right. So how I see that fight, like I said, tables did turn. Danny was one of the main guys that never wanted to give Errol no credit, and he was one of the guys that was avoiding him. He had no plans of fighting Errol next. He saw Errol look, like you said, it's good news and bad news that Errol Spence looked bad in his last fight because fighters could capitalize on it, but it gives them cojones to get in the ring with him, right? Mm-hmm. So Danny, quick. I mean, who would have thought Danny would step in the ring to call out Errol Spence? But because he saw something, like I said. But I believe that's a false sense because Shawn Porter is not Danny. Like, they two completely different styles. And the fact that Danny is, he's basic with his style, but he's effective. He's good at it, right? He got good timing, But at the end of the day, Danny Garcia has a good left hook, but Errol Spence is not going to be stationary and there to be hit like he fought Shawn Porter. He might fight Danny Garcia the way he fought Mikey Garcia, just to prove, hey, I fought Shawn Porter just to show I'm more of a dog than him, and I was trying to knock him out. But this fight, I'm a boxing show. I could outbox him, and he will still do damage because obviously he's still going to go to the body and box effectively. So I think for this fight in particular, Errol Spence is going to use his reach, his IQ. He knows Danny Garcia is way harder puncher than Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter could hit you with a clean punch, but he's more of physically impulsive, but it's not his power that shocks you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like he's just being there the whole time, and he's a big cat. He moved down from 168, beat the likes of Daniel Jacobs in the amateurs, I believe, and fought Usyk, I believe, at 168 or 165. So he's a big fella, but he don't have power, right? So Danny Garcia brings power to the table, but he's more basic and he's not awkward. So you're able to train for him. Can you get a sparring partner for Shawn Porter? Not really. But Danny Garcia is kind of like a lot of people that they could copy his style. And obviously you're not a Danny Garcia. You don't have his timing, but still is more of a basic style than a Shawn Porter. So I believe in that fight, I could see it established, maybe to the body, not to the head, because Danny Garcia got one of the best chins in the game when it comes as far as his chin. Man, the man get cracked and keep walking forward. Even Matisse caught him right on the chin, and he took it like a champion. So
you think he didn't even drop Mikey? He was pounding Mikey to the body.
Yeah. I mean, at this level, it's hard to keep up the man down model. How about man up? He need to switch that shit to man up and fight me, and that's what they doing. Yeah. But as far as man down, he might well switch it to man up, because all these fighters are stepping up to the plate. Now, speaking of fighters that are stepping up to the plate, since the Danny Garcia fight is not official, Manny Pacquiao is still a possible fight. And keep in mind, when Manny peeped that Keith Thurman didn't look too well against Lopez, he took that fight right away. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao stated prior to the fight, if Porter wins, I will fight Porter. Mm-hmm. If Errol Spence wins, like he ain't giving an answer, right? So after Errol Spence winning and how he won, do you see Manny Pacquiao wanting to fight him? And if so, or if not, how do you see that fight planning out? Do you even see Manny Pacquiao giving Errol Spence problem after what you saw last night? Your take on it?
I think that, Manny's a little long in the tooth. But I think that because what I stated earlier, I think that because Manny still does throw rapid fire combinations, that he'll have some good moments.
And he has the better hand speed too.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't really think of any matchup where Manny Pacquiao wouldn't have the better hand speed. Like Adrian Broner was close.
Yeah, but Adrian Broner is fast as far as single punches, but combinations. Manny top him.
He's more of a one shot. But I still don't see that fight happening. I think that.
Why not?
So we'll look at these pay-per-view numbers. I think that Manny Pacquiao has at this point in his career, and deservedly so, he's able to not only make a fighting decision that is going to enhance his legacy, but he's also has earned the right to make a business decision.
A smart decision. I don't call it business, because business will be to fight Errol, because that fight is bigger than a Mikey fight. If I'm being honest.
I still don't agree with that.
What you mean? So you telling me if Manny Pacquiao fights Errol Spence, they won't do more numbers than Manny Pacquiao fighting Mikey Garcia?
Well,
after Errol Spence becoming the unified champion and beating Shawn Porter on pay-per-view and Mikey on pay-per-view, and he literally beat up Mikey the whole night. That was the ass whooping of the year. Yeah. Then fought Shawn Porter in the fight of the year. You think Mikey gonna top Errol, man?
So the most enthusiastic fans out there are Mexican fans and Mexican American fans, and they're gonna support their guy.
His ass whoop. It don't matter what kind of fans you got.
They're gonna support their guy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, who pay-per-view wise, Errol Spence, his fans gonna support him. Manny Pacquiao got Mexican fans. They gonna watch the fight. Manny Pacquiao got Filipino fans. They're going to still watch the fight against Errol Spence. That fight is a mega fight. That fight is like Errol Spence, Oscar De La Hoya. So answer the question. What fight will do more pay-per-view?
I've said it. I think that I still think that
Mikey Garcia.
I still think that Mikey Garcia. I'm sorry. So I think that for the boxing diehards, they're going to say that, of course, he needs to fight Errol Spence. That's to determine who's the best 147, notwithstanding Terrence Crawford, of course. But when it comes to numbers, I don't. So it's just like comparing when a Floyd Mayweather fights a Juan Manuel Marquez, or Floyd Mayweather fights a Zab Judah. Right, so it's
but that's not a fair comparison.
Why
because
not?
You're talking about Pretty Boy Floyd before he became pay-per-view star, and you're talking about Money May.
Like, that's not true. So
when
he was Pretty Boy,
a pay-per-view star, then
he did over 1 million buys with Ricky Hatton.
When he was what?
When he was Pretty Boy. He
fought Ricky Hatton after he beat Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not Pretty Boy stage no more. That's after he beat Oscar De La Hoya. Like I said, Oscar De La Hoya made him the pay-per-view star. Bring up another name after Floyd became money made. Like she gave Shane Mosley.
Andre Berto. What those numbers do?
His career, bro. You can't compare Andre Berto and Marquez.
He had did at least 1 million buys at least, but then he fought another black fighter.
How about Shane Mosley and Marquez? Floyd Mayweather did, I believe, 1.2 or 1.3 versus Marquez. I guess Shane Mosley did, I believe, 1.4. Or they was around the same numbers.
They were about the same.
That's what I'm saying. So it ain't because of the Mexican fans, none of that. Errol Spence beat Mikey Garcia in front of his own Mexican fans, doing it in Mexican style way and American way. So what happens, all his fans gonna be Errol Spence fans. And I promise you, let me tell you something. I promise you that Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence fight will be as much as Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. Now, who you give that credit to? Do you give that credit to Shawn Porter, who can't sell his family dinner? Who you give that credit to?
Well, no, let's see those numbers come out. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
My question is, who is the biggest star, Shawn Porter or Errol Spence?
Who's the biggest star?
Errol Spence and Shawn Porter.
They're really on the same par. Neither one of them are really pay-per-view stars. They're not
Errol
bankable.
Spence, Shawn Porter fought Keith Thurman on regular TV. Shawn Porter fought Danny Garcia on regular TV. Shawn Porter fought Kell Brook on regular TV. But Errol Spence, as soon as he fought, Errol Spence is pay-per-view. Errol Spence, as soon as he fought Mikey, is pay-per-view. Because Errol is a pay-per-view attraction because he got the cowboy engines behind him. Like I said, a lot of people.
Let's see what these, because I heard that these numbers weren't. I heard that the numbers weren't gonna.
You told me that fight night. How can you know that fight night?
Because they have ways to kind of track the buys. I mean, these are pre-orders, of course, but they have ways to kind of gauge what they feel that the numbers will be.
Let's not talk about the unknown. Let's talk about the known, and that's Errol Spence selling 15,000 tickets against Ocampo. The same he fought in his hometown, right? Against the nobody, right? How much did he sell? 15K, right?
Was that on pay-per-view?
No, I'm talking about tickets.
Yeah, but I'm saying that wasn't a pay-per-view fight.
Ocampo, man, that was his mandatory. Ain't nobody knew
if
that
you're
kid.
A pay-per-view star.
But I'm saying that was before he fought Mikey. Now
so you saying that? So you acknowledge that him fighting Mikey made him
a pay-per-view fight. I mean, a pound-for-pound fighter. Errol Spence is a pound-for-pound fighter. When you get 2 pound-for-pound fighters clashing, that's a pay-per-view fight. Not saying I believe Errol Spence was the bigger of the two when they did fight. Like as far as star power.
As far as Mikey Garcia?
Mikey stated himself, I'm fighting Errol Spence because Errol Spence is the biggest star. Let's stick to the point. Let's stick to the point. Errol Spence fought Ocampo, sold 15,000 tickets, right? Then Shawn Porter fought Ugas. How many tickets did he sell? And he fought in his hometown. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not an attraction. He has to fight a big name in order to grab attraction. So let's not take away credit from Errol Spence not being a star. That's like saying Sugar Ray Leonard was never a star. Like, you can
Sugar Ray, what?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's not even a comparison. You're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard, who was in commercials, who was an Olympic gold medalist, who was all of that. Like, that's
exactly. You talking about Errol Spence? You talking about Errol Spence? Hold on.
Answer this question. No, hold on. Let me answer this question.
Let me say this. Let me just say this before I forget it, because I feel like I'm forget this. So Errol Spence, they would show his fight during cowboy commercials. You know how many people tuning in? Like 18 million tuning in, seeing Errol Spence's face. So he's getting promoted. Like I'm saying, he the man. Like people sleeping on him. He fought in front of 47,000 people.
I think
his fans.
I think Errol Spence can go and walk downtown. We're in North Carolina right now.
He can't even walk.
He'll walk downtown and won't get approached by anybody really.
Oh, I promise you, Mikey Garcia, they're going to think he a construction worker. They ain't want to know who he is. If
okay.
You're talking about that.
You said that. You got a chance. So let me ask you this question. All right. So when he fought Mikey Garcia, that was at where?
What?
When he fought Mikey Garcia.
Cowboy Stadium.
Right. Okay. And that's considered whose hometown?
Errol Spence hometown.
All right. Who was the majority of the people there cheering for?
Errol Spence.
That's not true. That the crowd, the majority of the crowd was there for Mikey Garcia. Right,
let's be honest here. Can I answer this? I'm gonna answer this question. No, I'm gonna be real with you. Look,
okay.
I'm gonna be real with you. So let's say Prince Nassim Hamed fight Floyd Mayweather, right? I love the hell out of Floyd. Let's say I'm a supporter of his, right? And we all know Floyd. As soon as he fight Prince Nassim Hamed and he goes to the arena, right? Let's say there's all these Arabic fans that's watching the fight, and they like Floyd. They cheer for Floyd every fight. I promise you, when he fight Nassim Hamed, I don't care if they believe he's gonna win or not. They're gonna cheer the hell for him. Why? Because he represent this right here, right? So I'm saying the Mexican fans.
I'm trying to
Texas,
understand that.
That's what I'm saying. Texas is full of Mexicans, right?
Yeah.
It's full of Hispanic people.
And Dallas is full of what else?
What?
Black people.
Exactly. So they cheering for Errol Spence as the Mexicans are cheering for Errol as the Mexican cheer for Mikey Garcia. It ain't no hard feeling. They just cheering for their own countrymen. They want to support their own. They like Errol, but they ain't about to cheer for Errol while he fighting Mikey. He whipping the shit out of Mikey. Them like, man, this dude going Mexican.
Where was the black fans at? Where was the black fans?
They was cheering too. That's what I'm saying. So just because his Mikey fans, like probably some Mexican fans didn't even know his ass, but they were like, oh, he Mexican. Oh, I'm cheering for him. I promise you, they will cheer for Mikey even if they don't know him, just because he Mexican. They not about to go against their own. And there's nothing wrong with that. But people take it out of content and be like, oh, that's because it's all Mikey fan. Let me see Mikey fight somebody other than Manny Pacquiao, and let me see what kind of numbers he going to do. Because he fought Broner, and he fought
what about
Robert
NO-Machenko?
Easter. And you know how many numbers they did on Showtime? Like 950,000 against Broner. That's the peak. And some lower number than that against Robert Easter. So let's not overhype, because Mikey got in there with Errol Spence. Let's see what he do after, because I promise you, Errol next fight is gonna be on pay-per-view.
It will be. He's gonna be on pay-per-view throughout.
But I promise you, Mikey Garcia next fight won't be on pay-per-view. I promise you.
If he fight Manny Pacquiao?
Nah, not Manny. I'm saying other than Manny, he won't be on pay-per-view. I promise you, Shawn Porter next fight won't be on pay-per-view. So let's give credit to Errol Spence. Like, let's not take all, like, people loved him because he was the boogeyman. Strat season, smoke season, all that. That's why they got attached to him. So let's not take that away from him just because, you know, Shawn Porter gave him a good fight. Like, let's not take credit. And I stated that before the fight.
You
said Shawn Porter and Errol. Like, come on. Now.
The thing is,
popular than that's why Shawn Porter is fighting Errol Spence, because he the star he is today.
I wasn't sure. The thing is that Shawn Porter he's one of the hosts on the like PBC.
They gave
show.
Errol Spence that job. He turned it down, and then
I don't know about that.
They did. I'm telling you facts.
Errol's not.
They gave Errol Spence a job, and Errol Spence turned it down before Shawn Porter. He just said he didn't want to be on TV. He don't want to be a host. He want to whip these fighters' ass. He's about to interview.
Well, what I was gonna say is that he's fought every named fighter in the welterweight division. That's why when I was trying to gauge their popularity, but if you keep doing that and they keep seeing you and you hosting, that means that your popularity is going to rise.
Like you lost a couple of them. Errol Spence haven't lost yet, but I'm not saying this due to the loss, but I'm saying Errol Spence still have his motto man down. He still got he put Shawn Porter down regardless, and I promise you, Shawn Porter piss and blood today. So so it's funny how tables turn. But onto the next topic, Keith Thurman. One time and one time only, Keith Thurman claimed he did better than Errol Spence against Shawn Porter. How you feel about that? Do you agree?
So I would need to watch the fights kind of back to back or side by side, but I will say that just factually, he did do better because he won a unanimous decision against Shawn Porter, and Errol Spence won a split decision. Whether we want to agree with that or not, when it comes in the judge's eyes, he did a better job.
Who?
Keith Thurman did a better job.
Oh, well, if you're talking about the scorecard, let me inform you on the unanimous decision win.
You okay?
It was 115 to 114. No, 115 to 114. It was 1 point difference, one round up for Keith Thurman and all his scorecards. Errol Spence, the judges that gave him the win, it was 116 to 111. Errol Spence was 5 rounds up. So if we're going by the judges, Errol Spence had like I said earlier, that judge that had Shawn Porter winning the fight by 115 to 111 to Shawn Porter's favor, he needed to be fired because that's no way you could have gave Shawn Porter 9 rounds in that fight. That's ridiculous. But as far as the other judges that had it to Errol Spence, they had him up by 5 points. Meanwhile, Keith Thurman had him up by 1 point. At the meantime,
for all 3 scorecards.
Yeah, all scorecards.
That's hard to do in a 12-round fight, though.
All 3 judges had Keith Thurman winning by 1 round and 1 round only. I checked it out before the fight. So
let's go fact check that. If
I did.
People out there.
So this is the fact check. I don't lie about my facts. I do my homework before I come in. But let me show you.
Why you doing that? So one thing I was saying, I'm not a one-time fan. I'm actually I don't want to seem like I'm
quit bugging. You was his fan one time.
I'm hypercritical.
A long time ago.
I can never think of one fight that I was going. Well, maybe against Danny Garcia. I may have been pulling for Keith Thurman.
I'm a Keith Thurman fan.
One thing I will say is that I don't recall anybody talking about, that was a robbery when Keith Thurman beat
everybody
Shawn
was
Porter.
screaming that.
They really?
Yeah, let me show you. See, they had him up by 1 round.
That's 115 to 113.
Yeah,
so that's
bad, yeah.
okay.
That's
all right,
round,
that was my correction. That's why because you said 114. I said that's hard to do in a 12-round fight.
My bad. I thought it was 1 point. Yeah.
That's 7 rounds to 5 right there. Okay, but yeah, I mean that's a close fight, but it was something that none of the judges felt that Shawn Porter had did enough work against Keith Thurman to get the win.
But it was closer, and some fight. Okay, that's just like saying when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, one judge had it a draw.
Yeah,
do you agree with that?
I think
it's just one judge had.
I think that judge got arrested.
That's what I'm saying. With this judge need to get arrested and get body punched by Errol too, because obviously he did not win the fight, Shawn Porter, especially not by 5 points up, man. Come on now.
I mean, that's hard for me to fathom, but
let's talk about the statistics as far as Keith Thurman. So Keith Thurman landed 235 punches on Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter landed 236 punches. He outlanded Keith Thurman by 1 punch. However, I gave Keith Thurman the win because he landed the effective shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we go based on that, Errol Spence landed 221 on Shawn Porter.
So he landed less.
No, he landed more. Porter only landed 172.
No, I'm saying he landed less than Keith Thurman landed.
No, I'm talking about as far as
compared to each other.
Yeah. No, you can't compare the fight. You compare it to each other, and I think that's just the body shots. And then that's 221 to Shawn Porter 172.
172.
Yeah, total jab. Errol Spence landed 37 to Porter 30. Power punches. Errol Spence landed 184 to Shawn Porter 142. So he outlanded him by 50, 60 punches. Shawn Porter outlanded Keith Thurman by 1 punch. Keep in mind, Shawn Porter got dropped by Errol Spence. So who is more dominant? If we're being honest, Errol Spence is more dominant.
So this is why I think that a lot of people saw a clear decision for Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman fought his fight. Keith Thurman, some people said, he was on his bike. He used his movement, and then he didn't get into. Sometimes he would kind of set down on his punches and stuff, but he was able to put Shawn Porter in certain predicaments and positions that he wanted to. And then so when you looked at the fight, just visually, it looked like Keith Thurman was commanding the ring generalship.
Visually, Shawn Porter was beating the hell out of Keith Thurman too. If you look at it visually, in my opinion, Shawn Porter did well against Keith Thurman more so than against Errol Spence. Like I said, Errol Spence, I gave him 4 rounds max. Against Keith Thurman, he won like close to Well,
he won 5.
He won 5, yeah. So it was one more round, and he didn't get dropped. And like I said, Errol fought his fight, like you said, right? And he still beat him at his own game. Keith Thurman fought his fight and still struggled more than Errol Spence. But I tell you what, Keith Thurman, all you have to do is fight Errol Spence one time. Just one time. We don't want you to fight him 2 times. None of that shit. All you got to do is fight him one time. Don't compare your performances and all that. Man, because you talk all that, I'm going to crucify you, Pacquiao. And then he ended up crucifying you. So
Yeah,
it's
he
dropping
kinda,
you in the first round. So like, let's not talk about, I did better than Errol Spence. When you know Errol Spence outlanded Shawn Porter more than you did, he out highlighted Shawn Porter more than you did. So if that's the case, like I said, facts prove that Errol Spence did better than you, right? So forget he said, she said, he said, she.
One thing
How about you get in the ring and
one
fight
thing
the
I
man?
want to say, I saw the interview that interview, and to Keith Thurman's credit is that somebody, a reporter asked him to make that comparison. So who do you think was more dominant? So if you're a boxer, you're not gonna be like, oh well, that guy. You're a boxer. You think that you're the best.
Hey,
so.
Professor Nim, come on now. Let's be honest, man. Tell him the truth. Keith Thurman said during the fight that he had Shawn Porter winning every single round up to the fifth round.
Yeah. So
like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like the man is clearly biased. Like, ain't no way you had Shawn Porter winning the first 6 rounds. He won 2 max. The first 6 rounds he won 2 max. Like, you ain't gonna give Shawn Porter every single round. So we know Keith Thurman obviously is biased. Errol Spence told him, man, I won that fight more than I want to breathe. like, you know how bad you won that fight? So, Matt, you know what Keith Thurman said on the other side? He looked at him dead in the eye and he said, you're more hungry than me. I'm not hungry right now, and I'm after a layoff, so I'm going to need a couple tune-ups. He ready right now. I'm not. Like, he don't want no smoke. And I don't think he wants smoke even now because he saw the way he fought. He like, man, Errol Spence, that's a dog. Like, the way he fought.
I think he might have saw some things with Keith Thurman's footwork, and so I think he might have saw some things in Errol that may have given him a little more.
But when you refer, as soon as
to take on that fight,
as soon as you get hit though, like Tyson said, your game plan gonna change. But next topic. So did you give me a pick
for
Pacquiao and Errol?
I think that Errol, I did, I think that Errol, when I said that Pacquiao would have his moments, I just think that Pacquiao's a little long in the tooth, but I think youth and activity are just win the day for Errol Spence.
So if Manny does fight Mikey, who wins that fight? I know we already stated last time we had the show that you would give the edge to Mikey, right? You got a lot of backlash, even though I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight. Manny probably beat him, right? I'm not too sure, but I'll probably favor Mikey if he wasn't coming off such an ass whooping though. Like, he's just coming off such an ass whooping, you just can't even pick him, right? But that's because it was Errol Spence. However, let's not forget Manny Pacquiao is faster, but he's not technical and fundamental sound as an Errol Spence, and he's 41. Let's not forget. So if they do fight, I do believe that Mikey Garcia. Let's not forget the man that gave Manny Pacquiao and slept him is Marquez. Even though Manny Pacquiao, he fought a lot of fighters, but the man that gave him the most problems was Marquez, other than Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So the man knew him, obviously. He knew every twitch as soon as Manny, 2 minutes into the round, he knows he about to throw a left or a right hand.
Yeah, Manny has some
left,
like Manny has some telltale signs of he's
so you could have, they fought 4 times. Obviously, the 4th time he knocked him out, but Marquez was an effective counterpuncher. I believe Mikey is a great counterpuncher, has better defense than a Marquez. Marquez, man, he will get caught flush. Then Mikey Garcia has way better defense than a Marquez, and I believe he hit harder. He's not as fluid as Marquez as far as the combinations, combinations at the same time. Like, Marquez was fluid throwing combinations. That's what gave Pacquiao a hard time. Mikey's more of a single puncher.
Well, he's a 1-2, like his 1-2
puncher. Yeah. So who you give that edge to and why? Like, I know you said it. A lot of people gave you a lot of, slack for that. So
what's going on, man? What's all the hate out there? So I'm just
Pacquiao fans coming for you.
My boxing knowledge. So, and there is a lot of so trust me. So we're talking about a 40-year-old Pacquiao who
41.
who did beat Keith Thurman. But I think with Mikey Garcia is that the people who give Manny Pacquiao the most trouble are those who are able to counterpunch, who have good footwork, and who utilize a very good jab. And those are all
got a good right hand counter.
yeah, and those are all check marks for Mikey Garcia. You don't have to be the fastest person. Marquez was never the fastest person. You don't have to be the most athletic or the most physically imposing, but a very technical fighter. Eric Morales is another example, who's kind of a poor man's, Juan Mel. And I know a lot of people are gonna give me some slack for that, but just probably at the time of his career, was kind of like a poor man's Juan Manuel Marquez. It was somebody who utilized effective boxing, a very strong jab, and a very good, well-timed counter right. And those are the boxers that give Manny Pacquiao the most trouble. And I think that at this stage in his career, that I could see Mikey Garcia being very effective with his tools against Manny Pacquiao. So I would give him the slight edge.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, you done messed up because now you got the Pacquiao fans coming for you, picking Errol Spence to beat and massacre Manny Pacquiao, and now
we can step in the ring if they want.
And not saying Mikey gonna beat him, they coming for you. But I do agree. I think Pacquiao versus Mikey is 50-50, and I think Errol will definitely beat Manny Pacquiao. I know a lot of people gonna bring up the Shawn situation. Listen, look at how Manny Pacquiao look against Jeff Horn, and let's not compare Shawn to Jeff Horn. You know what I'm saying? So Porter will give Pacquiao a hard time. So let's not throw shade out there and be biased and stuff. Let's be realistic. That's all Professor Nim is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. I'm trying to be objective in doing this, so I'm not out here.
You see these two gloves? Y'all could go ahead and put these gloves on. They got Guillermo Rigondeaux Gamboa. All the Cuban fighters signed this glove, and that's him right there. You know what I'm saying? We don't play this. He do this shit for real. So. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on Professor Nin over here. He want to smoke. It ain't fall season. It's smoke season. Stop, man. But on to the next topic. We got Kenny Porter. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Terrence Crawford against Shawn Porter. If Terrence already stated that's his man and he won't fight him. And that threw me off. I was like, man, hold on. Like, that was before the Errol Spence fight. He said if Shawn Porter beat Errol Spence, I wouldn't fight Shawn Porter because that's my guy. Like, I respect his dad. We go deeper than that.
Terrence Crawford said that.
Yeah, and then he said, however, I want Errol Spence to win. Even though Shawn Porter is his fan, you know what I'm saying? They close to win, but he said, I want Errol Spence to win because I want to fight him. Now, what you think, the comments on that? And if they do fight, like, do you see Shawn Porter giving Terrence Crawford a hard time? And do you think Crawford will outperform Errol Spence in that particular fight? So,
I think that Crawford doesn't get caught into none of this machismo of I'm gonna do this. I think he'll have a couple of rough moments just because of the physicality of Shawn Porter, but I think that
he'll fight his game plan.
Not only that is that he I think between him and NO-Machenko, right now are the boxers who are best adept at making in-fight adjustments, and to me, that's a true mark of a great fighter. Floyd was a master at doing that. Sugar Ray Leonard did that as well, and we can go down the list.
So you saying Terrence is gonna Jeff Horn Shawn Porter?
Jeff Horn. Why is that a comparison? You talk about a very limited.
As an inside fighter, that's like, how he fought Pacquiao, made it an ugly fight. So how Terrence did Jeff Horn. I'm asking, that's how you talking, like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No. I think that
a more competitive fight.
Come on, Jeff Horn made his name off fighting a very unmotivated Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford took him to school, rightfully so. But I think that Terrence Crawford will be more convincing than Errol Spence in defeating Shawn Porter.
So now what you think about the whole situation? He's saying he's too close to the Shawn Porter family and he won't consider that fight at all.
That's hard. So as a boxing fan, I don't necessarily like hearing that. I think that they're all professionals. And unless you're talking about family, I think that you should be willing to compete against the next competitor, particularly if he's in your weight class and that is somebody who is considered one of the top people in your weight class. I think you should be open to fighting them.
I think Charlo will fight his own Charlo twin for the right money. I mean, they didn't spar all them years for free. I think they would like to get in there one time for real and fight for the right money. But I'm saying now, yeah, I mean, it was kind of it came out of nowhere for me. I didn't know they were close, him and Kenny Porter. But like he's more close with Kenny. So just because that's his son, I mean, you don't know his son like that, man. Get in the ring with a man because. Let's be real. Terrence don't have that many options. So and Shawn, what shocked me, Shawn was like, yeah, I don't mind getting in there with anybody. Like at first, like
that's that dog.
And I'm like, what the hell? Now he talking about the Terrence Crawford fight. He don't mind fighting him. So I'm like, Terrence, that don't sound right. But I think I did hear Shawn on another occasion saying, yeah, they cool and shit. So I mean, I just feel like that. Terrence, since he's having a hard time to find the name at 147. So what you gonna fight? A Munguia at 154? Because Errol might fight Pacquiao, Danny, Keith Thurman. Like it's so many names, and you got Terrence Crawford on the other hand. What he gonna do? Move up and wait and fight Munguia? Like he only could wait for the Taylor fight versus who he fighting at 140.
I'm not sure. I don't think he's gonna go back.
No, I'm saying if they move up and wait and fight him
on
the tournament, the winner of the tournament. So that's another opponent. But they so far in between. So I feel like if he do fight Shawn Porter though, I think I agree with you. He will fight his game plan. He will, like I said earlier, if you come to Shawn Porter jabbing, especially if you're a southpaw. He always move his head. That's why Errol Spence was hard to, he was having a hard time to find the 1-2 to land on Shawn Porter because he he waiting for you to twitch and move his head. So Terrence, he will feint more. He will feint Shawn Porter. So all that moving head, ain't gonna do him no well because he ain't throwing no punches. He gonna feint him and then he gonna think he feint and he gonna pop him with his jab. And he's faster than Errol, and I believe he will fight his fight. He won't get caught up into Shawn Porter style, none of that. And I believe his footwork and his slickness and the fact that he goes to the body effectively, but at the same time, the jab while moving and pivoting and the right hook while pivoting, man, that's gonna give Shawn Porter a hard time. Absolutely. But I do favor Terrence Crawford. However, when Shawn Porter does get inside and use his weight, man, he gonna be a bully on Terrence because he gonna have that weight on him because he has a size advantage.
I think that a lot of people underestimate Terrence Crawford's strength. He has a slight build, but when he's in there with people, I think a lot of them are a bit shocked by how strong he is. Whatnot. Like Jeff Horn, he was able to handle him
with
easily.
No problem, but Jeff Horn
easily. Yeah, Jeff Horn's a big dude.
Yeah, and not just that, and Terrence Crawford, he don't shy from holding if he have to. He don't hold much, but if he have to not get hit, he will do so. So
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying Errol, he was going war, man, most of the night. So like Terrence in the scenario, when Shawn Porter come in the inside, he gonna nullify a lot of that work by just holding him and letting the referee separate him, because that's when Shawn Porter, he look against Kell Brook, he look ordinary. Just because he nullified the inside work and only have to focus on the outside. Because when Errol Spence fought Shawn Porter, at one point Errol was just walking to him with a high guard because he was worrying about Shawn Porter, coming with his head, coming with the overhand. Like, he's so unpredictable if you fight him in the inside. Errol Spence beat him at his own game, but at the same time, if you do fight Shawn Porter at his own game, he's so unpredictable because he even, he would throw a weird shot while his head is super low, so he hard to counter at the same time. So the best thing is to go his body, which is Terrence Crawford is so effective at doing so. But like I said, Errol, it's hard to focus on your jab and left and all that when you trying to fight Shawn Porter. Errol Spence was trying to fight Shawn Porter. Terrence wouldn't do that. He would fight his game. He would stick to the 1-2, check hook, pivot, jab while you stepping into your right, you know. Like, he won't go back straight backward, even though he does sometimes, but not as much as Errol did. And Terrence has better footwork. I believe he's more fluid on his feet than Errol Spence. That's just easy to see. But last but not least, we got Kenny Porter. Claims the fight is their way or a draw. How you feel about that? I know you already said it was like a draw, really, but
I mean, that's
after our whole conversation. I mean,
his father is supposed to be saying that, but I mean, he's looking in that corner. I just don't know what else you're supposed to say. You're the father, you're the corner man, and listen, a lot of people had this a close fight. I didn't score the fight. But Yahoo, which is pretty objective, and I seem to trust their scores. I think maybe Kevin Ioli does their scoring. He had a 1-point match.
Yahoo?
What's that?
That's Yahoo?
Yeah, Yahoo.
Yeah, man, forget Yahoo, man. You need
So-
to Google.
so-
If Yahoo had it like that, make Google that shit. Then look at the scorecard. Look at the not the scorecard, but more so the punch stats. Like,
Yeah, but listen, you got to remember, as a judge, you don't have those stats in front of you.
Forget the stats. I'm talking about your eyes.
Watching
I'm
it.
just
You're
talking about.
Yeah, you're watching it, and you got people that's digging on the inside. You got somebody. You might be on one side of the ring where you can't see if that's clean or not. And then, but the only thing that you're seeing is that this is the type of fight that Shawn Porter wants to fight.
I'll tell you
this
what,
is the type of fight
Yeah,
and then every round that we go into is like, wow, they're fighting that type of fight.
let me tell you something. I'll tell you what to do in that situation when you can't see. Close your eyes and you're going to hear the punches that Errol Spence was catching Shawn Porter with.
Oh, that's what you're going to tell the judge to do?
But I'm saying, like, you know, when you see a punch, like Errol was landing clean punches and Shawn Porter was doing good work. I'm not taking no point, but there's no such thing as a moral victory. Oh,
it's not that, but like, I don't see why you don't think that it's a close fight. So listen, fight. I didn't say it was we're watching it on a big screen. We have replays. We get numbers. We get stats and all that. So we're taking all that. That is like that is painting our opinion about the fight. A judge, he's sitting at ringside, right? So
and like I said, that's why they pay for that. So I'm saying, forget all that. I'm saying the fight itself. I never said the fight wasn't close. Even the rounds that Errol Spence won, Shawn Porter did well in. But if Errol lands 30 punches and Shawn Porter lands 15 punches, then you give the round to Errol Spence. You don't give Shawn Porter the round just because he tried hard and he landed 15 punches, but he threw 45 punches and missed the other punches on the where Errol Spence blocked him. You don't give him credit for that. You give him credit for the punches he landed. You give him credit for effective footwork. But Errol Spence, like I said, it was kind of even because Errol will put him on the ropes and punish him. And when Shawn Porter does turn, Errol Spence will, hold and nullify that. So that's credit to Errol. Like I said, Errol will position his body, in the inside where he didn't even get headbutt the whole time while he fighting in the inside. That's credit to Errol. So there's no moral victory as far as, he performed well. This and that. Shawn Porter himself didn't say he got robbed because he knew. He felt the punishment. That was 3 years out of his career. That's him pissing blood the next day. He know what time it is. Obviously,
some of those were low blows. We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
Them low blows ain't gonna help either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Errol showed that he's the dog in there. He could fight dirty if he find a dirty fighter. He already knew there's gonna be a dog fight from round one. Shawn Porter was pushing him. Errol Spence was hitting him low. Shawn Porter was throwing elbows. Errol Spence was pushing his head down. And let's not forget, I said it the wrong way. Errol was holding his head down and Shawn Porter was doing the same. Them low blows, a lot of them came when Shawn Porter was holding his head down in the inside. Now, if you know this, you box, when somebody holds your head down, you throw a punch, it's going to come low.
I just saw somebody.
I'm not saying he threw like damn 10, 20 punches low blows. I'm not saying he only threw one.
I was actually a little surprised by that. I've never, but I just think he wanted to send a message. Sometimes his Porter was holding his head low, but he threw a lot of low blow. So one thing I do want to say. So when we talked last week, and you was, I got a lot of flack because it was like, well, you know, who has the advantage and stuff, and I said, well, there's some things that we need to recognize about Shawn Porter, and I said, first of all, I think he's fought the better competition, and the fact that Errol Spence is viewed as the boogeyman, and he the whole time was proclaiming that he was going to knock him out, that Shawn Porter was going to get a modicum of a victory by just surviving the 12 rounds and performing well. So that was the point that I was trying to make.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody thought that Errol was going to knock him out with such ease that as soon as it was a good fight, oh, Shawn won. Like, man, y'all got to be able to separate.
You do.
And watch a great fight and enjoy it, but be fair. Like these fighters put their life on the line. So just because one fighter is doing well and you a Terrence Crawford fan or a Mikey Garcia fan and you hate that Errol is this boogeyman and you want your favorite fighter to be the man, you can't just be like, oh, Shawn Porter beat him just to make your point. Nah, these fighters put their life on the line, and Errol won the fight clearly. Like I said, Shawn, to his credit, he did better than most people thought. He did better than I thought. But I didn't think Errol was going to fight his fight and beat him at his own game. But I thought he was going to fight his own fight and box and do all that the way he fought Bundu. But the way he fought his game plan, he wanted to live up to the man down model. So, he fought the wrong game plan, but he still won.
He almost got that. He almost got his hand put down.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People want great fights, right? People want to go to toe-to-toe. As soon as a fighter like Errol go toe-to-toe, now people screaming out. Oh,
I know, somebody who never listened to that? Floyd Mayweather. And that guy is almost a billionaire. He may be a billionaire. So
that's what Errol
don't listen to that. Yes.
Because Errol, he want to live up to the fans. Like, you cannot please every fan. And if you do, you're going to be punch drunk. So do what's the best for your career, take the less punishment, and fight your game plan. You don't got to live up to no man down model, because I remember Errol Spence when he first came to the pros. Dante interviewed him, and he was like, oh, you going to knock him out? He knocked his opponent out. He was like, man, you're looking like a knockout artist in there when you're supposed to be a boxer. And Errol Spence was like, nah, I'm a boxer. I don't look for the knockout. I'm a boxer first. I don't get hit, then knockout. If it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
But he didn't fight this fight like, oh, I'm going to let the knockout come to me. He was looking for the knockout. The quickest way to get knocked out is try to knock somebody out. So the best way to knock somebody out is to let it come to you. And that's what Errol Spence should have done. But like you said, you live and learn. I believe it will make him a better fighter. But as far as the draw, as far as, Shawn Porter winning the fight, man, stop it. Because Errol Spence punished him. Yeah, Shawn Porter performed well, but look at that fight again and don't tell me. Like, the moments when Errol Spence, remember when he was off balance in the second round? He landed a punch and made Shawn Porter miss a punch. But Shawn Porter was stepping on his, foot. So he tripped. That you don't look at that and be like, oh, he hurt him. No, he didn't. You got to see if he really landed or not. He didn't. And then later on the fight, when Shawn Porter was using his weight and making Errol Spence look sloppy, you got to take, the factors in consideration that, oh, he using his weight. It's not, the punches is not doing that damage. It's Shawn Porter pushing. Like, you got to take that in consideration and see who's landing the punches and how much of them are blocked and how much of them are landing. You know what I'm saying? And if you do that, Errol Spence will come on top definitely. So, like I said, ain't no more victories when it comes to the sport of boxing. Shawn Porter's stock didn't go down. It went up because this can go down. It was one of the best fights of our decade, let alone fight of the year, because it was skill and a war. Normally you see Rios versus Alvarez, and it's like, they don't got no much skill. They just hitting each other. I could see that. I could watch a street fight and see that. But it's hard to see skill and a war. Fighters got to be willing to, like Errol and Shawn, like willing to die in the ring and prove a point and prove that I got more dog than you. And Errol, like I said, made Shawn Porter back up. He made Shawn Porter, you know, he was kind of gassed out toward the end of the fight, and he managed to drop him. So, like I said, he didn't knock him out, but he at least managed to knock him down. So, credit to Shawn Porter. You know, I seen footage of him before the fight where Kenny Porter was telling him, man, you know, you stop doing that. Stop going to the right, go to the left. Why you keep listening to yourself? Stop listening to your little brain. Listen to me. And Shawn Porter keep telling him, yes, make the same mistake. He yell at him again. He like, you're not listening. I'm like, in front of camera, right? And I love the father and son combination and stuff, but, you know, I even respect Shawn Porter even more because he ain't talking back to his dad. He listening and taking it in. Even though his dad mad at him, he ain't saying, you know, obviously fighters see something that a trainer might not see. It might be a fighter trying to set you up for a certain punch, and you're like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm going to do this, you know. The trainer might not see it, but the fighter in there that's getting hit, he might be seeing it because the fighter's setting him up because he might got caught with that earlier. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But a father might not necessarily see that. But Shawn Porter won't even talk back to respond to his dad. So I got tremendous respect for Shawn Porter because he taking it all in. He trying to, like he said, all I gotta be is 100% one time, and he was 100% in this fight. It's just that Errol Spence was 150% determined. I don't think Errol Spence was 100% as far as how he fought. And I believe his power, you know, he might want to move up to 154 soon because making that weight might look like an issue because, you know.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because, man, I don't know, man. Like
usually you get tired or you just don't have the energy and stamina and like I don't think I just listen. You got to give Shawn Porter credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I give him that he made it competitive. I thought he was gonna get stopped. He didn't. He won 4 rounds when I thought he was gonna get washed. And the rounds he lost, it was competitive. He didn't just lose. Like the rounds that he lost, he landed 15 punches to Errol Spence landed 30 on him, but he still landed punches. He still did great work. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a good fight, but you got to be able to separate and see what's landing and what's not to score the fight. That's like somebody saying, like I stated earlier, Luke Campbell beat Lomachenko. That's like somebody saying Cotto Maidana beat Floyd. Like, nah, you got to watch the fight and pay attention, especially when you score. And like that's why I had to go back and watch the fight again. But like I said, credit to Shawn Porter. It was a great fight. Now, last thoughts on that.
No, I just think that that's going to open doors now because a lot of people are going to see some things in Errol Spence that they think that they can take advantage of. It's a different thing when you get inside the ring with him, but yeah. that's good for the boxing fans and Errol Spence because we'll get to see that competition.
Yeah, he get the fights that he want. And funny, like he said, tables their turn now. Last thoughts on Wilder versus Ortiz. Who you got for the rematch? And what you think about that fight in general? It's on pay-per-view on Fox Sports.
I think it's a bit of an unnecessary fight.
Well, some people,
the first fight was a good fight. In there, Ortiz exposed some things about Wilder, but I mean, any good boxer is gonna expose Wilder because he just doesn't really have very good technical skills. But I think that. Yeah, I said good. I said any good boxer. So
it's not good. It's not good.
No,
boxing in your opinion?
No.
Okay, so you talking about elite level, like
yes,
Ortiz and shit.
Yes, and Tyson Fury. Okay. So with Ortiz, I think that he came to prominence probably about 5 or 6 years too late. I think that he actually might be a little bit older than. We talked about this before. Then his actually age states, and I think they already state that he's 40 years old. And I just think at this time he just is not going to be able to keep off. Would keep Wilder, who is a young, strong, wild heavyweight, from landing one of those bomb squad right hands on him.
All it takes is one.
And I think at a certain point, I think it'll be interesting for a little bit. Because Ortiz is a very good boxer, and he had Wilder hurt, and the referee did some janky stuff in there to give Wilder some extra time in that first fight. But I see Wilder winning again, KO.
Nah, yeah, I mean, I see why Wilder took the rematch. I mean, and a 50-year-old Ortiz will still knock out Wilder. He will knock out Tom Schwartz that Tyson Fury fought. So I mean, obviously, he's still the boogeyman because Dillian White's still ducking him. All these top level heavyweights still ducking him. So Wilder took on this match because the rematch is still hyped up. You know, because Paulie made this whole commotion about Deontay Wilder got 10 seconds after the round with a doctor, and it's like, bro, like that ain't his fault. Like, and he already got a minute break. Like, he good. Like, you're acting like he survived a 2-minute ass whooping and had a minute break. Like, he's good. So they made a whole commotion of that. So Wilder wanted to run it back, and I don't know if you know, I believe Ortiz's daughter has something like going on that and Wilder want to fight him so he could provide for her. That's why he want to give him that second opportunity, because he could feel for him, as he stated that he has a daughter himself, so he could feel for him. You know what I mean? So I could see. I mean, I don't mind the fight. I just think it's a risky fight. Like, I think it's a risky fight for Deontay Wilder because Ortiz is the most skilled fighter at the heavyweight division, but it's kind of hard for a skilled fighter to fight Deontay Wilder the traditional way because Wilder is wild, so it's hard, is a technique to his madness, it's hard to counter him because, you don't know, you can't expect what's coming next, but he do make mistake. That's what you could capitalize on. That being said, I got Deontay Wilder winning. We'll see if he could do it in more impressive fashion, and it's going to be a great fight, and we definitely will be tuning in. And, just the last thought, AJ said he might retire if he beat Ruiz.
If he beats him, if he loses to.
No, he said if he loses to Ruiz, he will fight. Like, he will continue. If he beats him, he don't want Deontay Wilder next. He want an easy tune-up fight, and he might retire. Like, one of the two. So what you think?
This is the first time I've
well, I want to shock you with it. I ain't even want to tell you on that.
I mean, that seems nonsensical to me. I don't understand. So if you beat the person in the events which will set up the heavyweight fight that you want to do, then you're gonna be like, well, I'll probably retire. But if you lose, then I'm gonna go on. I think that's somebody who's a little mentally fragile right now. Talking nonsense.
Yeah, he definitely ain't mentally there saying shit like that. And like, how can you turn down $50 million to fight Deontay Wilder? You know what I mean? And walk away from that, and then turn your own offer down that you sent him to fight Povetkin, and then people saying you ducking Deontay Wilder. Then Ruiz comes out of nowhere, becomes a superstar in the game, off beating you and sending you back to your own hometown. You don't want to fight him back in New York. And you fight him in Saudi Arabia, like the Saudi, like that's a place nobody like have a boxing match ever been hosted over there. So why would you do that? And now saying that you don't want to fight Deontay Wilder after even beating Ruiz again, even though that's the big money fight, go ahead and fight him, because in the heavyweight division, all it takes is one punch. Anybody could be a Ruiz. You never know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm picking Ruiz, obviously, but that's another reason why I want Ruiz to win, because, like I said, AJ ain't mentally there in the sport of boxing, in the heavyweight division mainly. Boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. Now, I talked about this. What you think? We about to end the show, but I just want to talk about this last thing. What you think about, there's a lot of YouTubers like KSI, Logan Paul, you got Adam Saleh, and Logan Paul fighting KSI. Obviously, we talk about boxers, like the people that really do it. But there's a market like so crazy for these guys. I came out of nowhere, shocked me. I heard Logan Paul and KSI getting paid like $10 million each to fight on the zone. And what you think on the YouTube, aspect of it? Like,
I don't think about it. I skip it. I don't listen into it. I think it's.
So do you think it's good for the sport?
No. Why? I mean, why somebody who doesn't train, they'll train for a little bit to get in shape, and then they'll fight a non-fighter, and then they'll get paid a purse that is 10 times more than most fighters will make throughout their whole career. And it's because you're a personality.
I don't know about 10 times, but it's a good amount.
$10 million?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's probably 5 to 10.
But how many? So you think most fighters make millions of dollars?
Champions, yeah. Champions.
No, I'm talking about just boxers in general.
Boxers, yeah,
I'm talking about boxers in general.
Yeah.
Guys who like do this, like this is like they don't have this other career. They're not doing this for like Eddie Hearn. I think that's that's
who's doing it.
That's who's doing it. But I mean, he's not somebody who really cares about the sanctimony of professional boxing. He's shown that. Yeah. He saw an opportunity to make some money, and I think it's a farce. I think like I said, I don't think about it. I really don't know much about them.
Well, it's like this. It's like this. It's like how I feel about it. Like kind of when he fought Mayweather, it wasn't it was a pay-per-view fight, but he got a lot of casuals to tune into the sport of boxing. So it's always a good look because you got YouTubers. They got KSI got 18 million subscribers. And Adam Solid got like 6-7 million subscribers. So these guys, when they fight, their fan base tune in. So people that never watch boxing. So it's kind of like they get, see what the sport is about. Even though they're not watching the boxers, they seeing, fighters, it looks sloppy, but to them it looks normal. Because, to us, it's like, what are they doing? But, to them, that's Godzilla fighting Godzilla, So I believe when they do see a real boxing match, that's action packed, they might become hardcore fans. So it could be a
but if they see a really skilled fighter like a Rigondeaux, they're gonna be like, what's going on? How come they're not just doing that? And they don't. So they're like, I don't.
No, I agree with you on that. But let me talk about before I end the show, Adam Solid fight. He fought an MMA fighter that's to prove that he the best YouTube boxer. I believe he did because he looked like a professional fighter a little bit when, what I'm saying, I got to look out for my people because Saddam Ali was training him.
I mean, just say that.
If you're looking
out for your people, then
say
that.
I do talk about this on my channel, so, you know what I'm saying? But and Adam Saleh, it was a charity for Yemen because Yemen was, 18 million people supposed to die by the end of the year from hunger. So this is a charity event that is
and that's fine. Yeah, but that's good, and they need to bring some notoriety about that situation.
That's what
they need to call. They need to put Saudi Arabia on blast for their
the reason for this shit.
That's my point.
So let's not get to politics now. But as far as the fight, he always fights and does charity. So I respect that. That's why I try to talk about it so people know and watch this fight just to get views and promote it because that's how they make money to feed people and stuff. So I just want to talk about the fight real quick. Adam Saleh won. He impressed me against the MMA fighter. I believe he proved that he the best YouTube boxer. That's a YouTuber that's active. He got caught in the second round, got knocked down, but that's because the fighter he was fighting knew what he was doing. And when he was in the inside, he stood tall. As a fighter, you don't stand tall. You gotta, if you're gonna be in the inside doing work, you gotta bend your knees a little bit and do work. So he stood tall, but he learned from his mistake and he fought better after that. I believe he clearly won. It was a good fight. Now KSI gotta see him since he disrespected his daddy. And, so we'll see if KSI wants that smoke. Now, hold on. I got to ask you this. If a fighter outweighs another fighter 50 pounds, will the commission allow it to happen? Because Adam Saleh weights 145.
If they're a heavyweight, that happens a lot.
No. He 145. Adam Saleh 145. KSI, I believe, 190. And Logan Paul 200. Now, will they approve the fight?
I mean, I don't. So these aren't commissioned fights, are they?
No, he fought his first pro fight, and they fighting for their first pro fight. So they are commissioned fights. Adam Saleh.
No, they would never allow a commissioned fight unless it's a heavyweight. They wouldn't allow that.
Well, he ain't no heavyweight. Now, how many pounds can he put on to get it? Like if he's 190, how many pounds can he put on in order to get this KSI fight? If he weighs 145?
I mean, usually I haven't seen a fight, but unless you're in the same weight
division.
class.
Yeah, so Adam got to be 175. So I don't even know how that's gonna happen. But if they do fight and Adam has a lot of experience, way more than KSI, can he beat somebody outweigh him 50 to 60 pounds?
Man, I don't know these guys.
But I'm saying, I'm asking. What do you think?
But look, if somebody suck and they weigh 200 pounds and a guy that can box, like I could beat somebody that don't box that weighs like I've sparred people or whatnot, but like I don't know these guys.
Hold on, I sparred somebody that weight like 120. He wanted me to teach him a thing or two, and I weigh obviously 170. But this dude was for real. But when he was hitting me, I wasn't feeling shit. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, what the hell? Like, and I was like Mayweather because I got better because I was comfortable taking any punch. I'm more comfortable catching and parrying the shot because it ain't gonna hurt me even if it land. So I believe that's even for him, even though he way more skillful than the KSI. Bro, these KSI can't fight with the shit. I'm sorry. But Adam, he could fight. And he was actually wanted to be a pro fighter. His license got suspended for being somebody's ass. So I believe he could beat him, but man, he better put on some weight. Now, that being said, thank you for tuning in to Split Decision. We will be hosting this every Sunday, dropping it every Monday. Soon we will go live when Professor Nim figure things out. And
go for that. No, we are. Let's get the subscribes up. Let's get the views up, and then once we can get the our production value a little bit higher, then we can do things like go live. The only
thing we got to figure out is how to connect the mic to the camera and to the computer because we just want it to be great quality for y'all so y'all can hear.
We need some money.
We need some money. We might need some honey to host for us. So hey,
that would be also like I would like to. I mean, that was the original view is that we would have sort of like First Take and Undisputed is like we would have a kind of like a female host who would be the mediator while we do our split decision, give our takes. I would also like to make a suggestion is that if there are some boxing topics that you would like to discuss, you can like put them in the comment section,
and we would definitely talk about them. I already stated that, and so we working basically what he's saying is we working with a budget, and we moving slowly and improving slowly, but we will go live during the show. We will have a host that's hosting, even though I'm fine with a job, I can multitask and stuff. But obviously, if we got a little more honey, more money, we could probably bring a honey or two.
Yeah, we're just getting our feet wet, and we appreciate the views, we appreciate the comments, good and bad. Like we say, we are giving our takes, and we want it to be two different views on there.
So don't take this personally. Basically, keep in mind that he might pick Errol Spence, and I'm picking Errol Spence, but he making a case for Shawn Porter. If I say, oh, well, Errol Spence going to smoke Shawn Porter, he going to make a case for Shawn Porter because, people are sleeping on Shawn that say that because this and that, you know what I'm saying? And y'all seen it tonight. If you go back and watch the prediction, basically a lot of what he said came to fruition. Now, hold on. I don't agree with that goddamn Gary Russell situation. Leo Santa Cruz don't got no cojones and he ain't fighting that. Now we do disagree on that, but some topics like
we do disagree.
Don't get offended. You know what I mean? It's boxing. We love the sport. We're very passionate about it, and we just want to see the sport get better. And we ain't here to cause confusion. We over here to restore order and maintaining it. So when I talk about Lomachenko and saying, oh, he not pound for pound number one, got to do more. He overhyping the media. Best believe I like Lomachenko. The only thing about Lomachenko is the media overhyping him because he got a complexion for the protection. So when I talk about the whole situation, it's because, like I said, we trying to restore order and give every fighter the credit he deserves because they put their life on the line and fight each other. So at the end of the day, that's what the whole split decision
But
is
I do want to say, we do want the smoke, though. So
we do want the smoke.
We do want the smoke. So if y'all out there, y'all think y'all got some better views or better takes or better knowledge or stuff like that,
we can talk about it.
We definitely want to hear from you. And in the future,
we will have call in.
We'll have call in, and we'll even get some guest debaters on there. So we definitely appreciate you.
So we improving, and we will improve every week. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't listen to these casual fans. Follow Luna Tune Boxing for the funniest boxing memes. Follow me at Aki TV on Instagram. Check out my channel, Aki TV. That's where I post all my content. Click on the notification bell to get notified every time we go live. And where you want them to follow you at? Because you ain't saying a thing over there.
I'm Professor Nims. I like to stay incognito. But you will find me on Split Decision every week.
That's the only way you could catch my man. You know what I'm saying? So Professor Nim is a real life professor. So, and a professor when it comes to the sport of boxing. So I'm trying to tell y'all, anybody want to put the gloves on, you know what I'm saying? We want the smoke. Like, he ain't ducking no action. You know, he Golden Glove champion, all that. So talk to me nice. Don't talk to me twice. So like I said, subscribe. And to be continued on the next episode of Split Decision. Thank you.
We out.
And we out, huh? One time. Not keep them.